female transsexuals for more than a year.
14 minutes.
What have you noticed so far?
Face is smoother, skin is softer, the body hair actually is reduced a lot, and the beard seems to grow actually slower, about half as fast. I don't know, maybe that's just wishful thinking on my part.
I mean, I do think that it could slow down.
Michael is going to speed up the changes to his face by having his beard removed by electrolysis.
It is essential to remove the beard. It not only gets rid of the 5 o'clock shadow, but it changes the texture of the facial skin as well. Yeah, if you can imagine somebody sticking electric needles in your face, I don't imagine it feels very good.
I'm going to insert the probe into the follicle. I'm starting you out at a good, moderate current. If you felt pain,
An electric current is passed down a needle inserted into each hair follicle.
that hair just slipped out, no resistance. It's causing enough tissue destruction so that that follicle doesn't have the cells or the papilla to cause a hair to grow in that follicle.
No, this isn't as bad as I thought it would be.
Someone took the trouble to count that there are 1,270 follicles. Zapping them all will take a year to a year and a half of treatment.
They're weird things.
Okay, here's some ice for you. And you can just hold it on the treatment area for 15 or 20 minutes.
Electrolysis costs $150 to $200 for a 2-hour session.
Exactly.
Okay.
When doing a full beard, it's a lot of hair. And it is a serious commitment to have it all removed. And it does work.
It will cost Michael thousands, but he will save on razors and shaving cream.
It is something that is expensive. It takes time and commitment on your part.
Yeah, no, that's what transition is all about, committing to yourself, and it's not just electrolysis, but therapy and hormones and ultimately the surgery.
Right.
So I'm committed to going through with it.
Beautiful. On this trip, Michael is spending only 2 days in San Francisco to start his transition to female. Then he will return home to decide his future.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
As a small child, Wendy didn't know there was a difference between boys and girls. When she did find out, she assumed she was a boy, but was told she was a girl. From that moment, there was a problem.
Nature goofs sometimes. There's glitches. I couldn't find my place because I was in the wrong place to start with. But you can move forward if you know which way you're facing.
Wendy is now Lucas. For years, Lucas felt out of step with the world because his brain and his body were not in sync.
This is who I am. This is how I've always been to myself, and now you guys get to see it too.
Lucas is now 50 years old, lives in Vancouver, British Columbia, and has completed his transition from female to male.
I've just blossomed. I've just come into my own, outside and inside. I've been able to grow up in a way that I would have never been able to grow up before. I've been able to take my place and just show up for life.
Lucas struggled with his gender conflict until he was 40. Even his father knew that his daughter felt like his son.
He used to say I should have been born a boy. But then when it became, well, good news and bad news, Dad, the good news is I figured out a way to do that. He suddenly reverted to very sentimental feelings about his daughter, understandably. He was in his 80s and it was a stretch for him. But he knew what it meant. He knew that for me that meant completion.
In 1998, after 2 years of hormone therapy, Lucas had a double mastectomy and chest reconstruction.
I knew it was something I needed to have, and it's just back to how do you know you're left-handed. I just knew that I needed to do this. It's something that those of us that pursue chest reconstruction, it takes a while to sit with your chest back or just wearing a t-shirt. It's just such a foreign freeing experience.
5 years later, he underwent the most radical of sex reassignment surgeries, genital reconstruction that took 11 hours.
Well, because I was a man born without a penis, really, and the world doesn't revolve around that, but it's certainly part of it. The same as if I was missing an ear or one of my hands, I'd want the nearest replica as possible so that it could do what it was expected to do.
The operation is called phalloplasty. The plastic surgeons cut off a chunk of Lucas's forearm. They fashioned it into a penis, using his female genitalia to preserve sensitivity and function. A skin graft was taken from his thigh to repair the arm.
It's a difficult procedure. It's intricate. It's very three-dimensional because, I mean, you're changing completely the aspect of something. It's not like putting a bone graft or doing a nose.
It's a controversial series of operations.
On a scale of 1 to 10, probably the phalloplasty is 10, being the hardest.
Phalloplasty can cost tens of thousands of dollars. Apart from the scarring left on other parts of the body, the results are not often ideal.
My closest friends were worried about me because they were concerned that I was going to do something irreversible and it was going to again be not the right thing.
There are other choices for female-to-male transsexuals. Jameson Green chose to have a metaoidioplasty. Put simply, the surgeon creates a smaller version of a penis from female genitals.
If you want a phallus that has natural erectile capacity, you're going to end up with a 2 to 4 inch phallus because that's what metoidioplasty can produce. And that's the basic difference, is size and erectile capacity.
Lauren Cameron was also once female. He decided against any genital surgery. Chest modification and testosterone made him the man he is today.
You know, we all have this gender discomfort, this body discomfort in degrees. And there's a whole range of people. The guys that go for the metoidioplasties are a little bit more uncomfortable than I am. The guys that go for the phalloplasties are even yet more uncomfortable than the guys that get metoidioplasties. Some guys who feel like me, who say, oh, I'll never get genital surgery, some years down the road might decide otherwise. So it's a process. You know, technology is ever changing, and some of us are just waiting it out. We're waiting to see. Well, God, things are happening very quickly. What will things be like in 10 years? I might have a whole different option.
Lucas felt his transition would not be complete unless he went the whole way.
For me, my sense of self as a man involves having all the accessories. This is all about my journey and what I need to feel fully like a man.
I need you to sit up and face me.
Okay.
Genital surgery is not on Aidan's mind.
Sit up real straight.
The only thing he's thinking about is a new chest.
The straighter you are now, the straighter everything.
Oh God, pressure's on, right?
It's all on you.
Dr. Michael Brownstein is a leading chest reconstruction surgeon.
I definitely understand why my patients want this operation, and I've learned over the years to appreciate how important this is to them.
I feel great. I feel pretty relaxed. I feel a little nervous, but very confident. Just hopefully not too much pain is really what I'd like.
Okay, we've been cleared for takeoff, so I'm going to put your C3 tables in the upright position.
I know this procedure is irreversible and I can never go back. And you have to understand that this is something that, like, from the day that I began puberty, I've just longed for, with never a day that I liked my chest and never a day that I thought it was great to have, that there's no question in my mind.
The operation is in 2 stages. Aiden's breasts will be removed. Then, Dr. Brownstein will graft the nipples back onto Aiden's new chest.
We're dissecting the breast tissue and subcutaneous tissue up to the upper extent of the breast. Be finished closing the incisions, and then we'll mark out location for the areolar grafts. Just try to get it as symmetrical as possible. Joanne, you want to check this?
Aiden's new nipples will be the size of a nickel, because that's what he uses to measure them.
Not bad, huh?
No, not bad.
I think the goal is to make the chest as natural as you possibly can and as unremarkable as you possibly can. I mean, you can't avoid scars. That's one of the penalties of surgery.
2.5 hours later, Aiden's new chest is finished.
So we finish suturing in the graft, and the operation is complete. It's very important to these patients that they have the surgery to facilitate their transition from female to male. I think without it, it would be almost impossible. I think it's a crucial operation, and I'm glad to be able to do it.
Aiden will take a few weeks to recover fully, but then he will appear more like the man he's always known he was.
This is oil controlling lotion that will help to control the shine. I'm putting a shadow right here to help straighten out the line of the nose.
To become a woman, Michael is inducted into the mysterious power of makeup.
God, that is just huge. I cannot believe you can do that with just makeup and, you know, it's just amazing.
This makes an amazing difference in your body shape.
Sure does.
And the balance of your hips.
It's part of the course from the style counsellor, Anne Grogan.
The back bow facing your back, and then open up your bow. When first I met Michael, he walked very quickly. He headed in a beeline for products. He grabbed at things. It was much more abrupt movement. Much more linear. I saw it. We were walking down that aisle. Boy, we were going shopping just like a man shops. Let's go for it. Let's get it done with and over with. This is a great kind of a piece of jewelry.
The gender makeover covers everything from dress sense and makeup, voice work, and body movement.
That center line when you practice. So women tend to walk like that. By the conclusion of the salon today, I saw Michelle standing back, being softer, taking her time, learning to be a little more conscious of herself in the world and how she moves through the world. You have wonderful natural body movements, and you've picked it up very, very rapidly, quite frankly.
Well, it feels
much
really
better
natural.
than I expected. This is just reaching inside yourself and letting the softer side come out.
Right. It's Michelle's on the outside
That's
now.
it. She is you.
Yes.
For many male to female transsexuals, the defining moment in their transition is facial feminization surgery.
Facial feminization surgery is a surgery to change a masculine skull to a female skull, getting rid of the masculine characteristics. And when one does that, the feminine face shows through.
Elizabeth underwent a series of facial operations 2 years ago to complete her transition to female.
As I was transitioning, I realized that I was a very ugly man in a dress. There was no doubt about that. And I tried my best to do what I could to improve my looks. And I did the best I could with what I had. So that's why I decided to go to Dr. Osterhout.
She became one of Dr. Osterhout's star patients.
In feminizing Elizabeth's scalp, we cut away the prominence of the forehead.
My nose, he gave me a nose job.
We set the nose back into a female position.
Redesigned my chin, my jawline.